Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Anime Watch Club, a bi-weekly group discussion and review where the hosts of the What Do You Say Anime podcast nominate and vote on shows either we haven't seen or shows that hopefully lead to a great discussion. On today's episode, the decision makers of the What Do You Say Anime podcast will be reviewing the 2013 anime My Mental Choices Are Completely Interfering with My School Romantic Comedy. Let's meet today's harem antagonists. First up, he had the choice to pick chocolate, but he went vanilla. We have Johnny. Johnny, how's it going?
That's funny because I actually, sorry, I was choking because I actually don't like chocolate ice cream. So, that actually works.
That's exactly what I was referencing. Yes, chocolate ice cream. Next up, he had the choice of being Oni-chan or Oni-san, but he chose Big Oto-san. We got Kat. Kat, how's it going?
I have no idea what Hotel-san means, but goddamn.
Calling you daddy.
I was calling you Big Papa. I love it when you call me Big Papa.
Pete, you're dating yourself here,
Throw
man.
your hands in
yourself.
the air if you's a true player. I see some ladies tonight.
If you ever
that should be
wanted to
having
know
my
how
baby.
old our host is,
Baby.
that he was alive for that song. Just letting you know.
Rest in peace, Notorious B.I.G. Next up, he wanted the selection to be in a galaxy far away, but instead he got stuck watching this show. We got Miles. Miles, how's it going?
Yeah, we'll get to that later. It's going quite good. And Pete, who was singing? Who sings that song that you were just singing?
That is the Notorious B.I.G.
Let's keep it that way, okay?
All right. Well, he's dead, so I'm just trying to carry on his legacy. Yeah, let's keep it that way. And then last but not least, we got we got Pat.
Yes, you do. Wow, those were good intros for someone who just wrote them beforehand, Pete.
Thank you.
Gotta say, mine, as always, was just spectacular. It leaves me speechless. It really does. Every time you just have such a way with words that I almost can't hear them sometimes. It's crazy. But yeah, let's start talking about, God, what was the title of this show? Some long ass convoluted thing.
It is my mental choice. Oh, you got it.
Thank you, Pete. It's almost like I could hear him talking again. It's so weird, right? Like maybe I'm just losing it. My mental multiple choice power is completely ruining my school romantic comedy. The show was published in fall of 2013 by Studio Dio Media, which has done this and Domestic Girlfriend. Apparently not the manga, because the manga is dope, but did the anime. It did Aho Girl, and yeah, I don't really recognize a lot of these other ones that are
whatever
they
Shinraku
all look the
is.
same.
A lot of ecchi.
A lot of oh yeah, My Girlfriend's a Show Bitch. Yeah, that show that was so clever and comedic and
I love
wonderful.
that show.
It had its moments. Like this show, it had its moments. But yeah, so let's get into our discussion of this show. My multiple choice power is completely ruining my romantic comedy. What a title. That's got to be the longest
We
title
gotta
we've
find
had.
a way to shorten this when we talk about it. Can we just say my mental choices?
Yeah, I think that's correct. Sure, we'll call it that. It was only 10 episodes, which was nice, I think. It made it a little easier to watch. But Miles, why don't you start us off with your spoiler-free first impressions?
Yeah, sure. So, this is a has-nom, which meant that I was at least going to like it ironically. Going into it. I had seen an episode of this before because Has showed it to me. So I pretty much knew what to expect. But I don't know. I think I was still pleasantly surprised by the show. It's pretty funny at parts. It's I mean, I don't know how much. I think this is a good tale for expectations. I expected a relatively ecchi comedy, and I got a relatively ecchi comedy that was slightly funnier than I expected, and that, it made me happy then when I watched it. Would I recommend this? I don't know. Why the fuck not? Who cares? Yeah.
Fair. Yeah, who cares? I like that. So I'm glad you mentioned having watched it with Has before, because I realized 2 episodes in that I was like, wait a minute, this is oddly familiar, and it occurred to me that I had also sat through Has showing us 20 minutes of an episode one time, and Yeah, that was when I knew. I was like, oh yeah, it's this show, and we got back to that. But yeah, Kat, go ahead. What are your first impressions?
First time I actually watched this, I dropped it after the first episode. Just so y'all know, just a preview of how I'm feeling about this episode. This show, the first few episodes were a show. It was made. It was perfectly unfunny to me, personally, and had a lot of secondhand embarrassment. That is as good as you're gonna get without spoilers, and probably as good as you're gonna get with them.
Fair enough. So I'm guessing you would not recommend the show.
I mean, it's not that I wouldn't recommend the show; it's that I wouldn't go out of my way to recommend it.
That's fair. Yeah, it's not a very like notarized show. It's not a show with lots of notoriety. Good job, Pat. You figured it out. Um, so it's not like something that like comes up in recommendations very often. I do think it does have its niche
We'd
audience.
used
though.
the adjective form of notoriety a lot already, which would be notorious.
It's not a very notorious show. Yeah, I guess
I got
so.
it.
Yeah, we've used. Yeah, that's a big word there,
Words, big
Miles.
words.
That's a really big word.
Well, Pete told it to me earlier today.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah,
That's
that's
interesting from a guy who can't read.
yeah. Full circle, as always, here on What Do You Say Anime is Anime Club. Johnny, what have you got for your first impressions of My Mental Choices?
Well, so like you guys, I also saw Has watch the show, and zero expectations coming in because it's a Has show. But honestly, wasn't that bad. Like Kat was talking about the secondhand embarrassment, but my self-esteem is already at the bottom of the barrel, so like nothing.
That's
like
actually
that affects
another
me
good
anymore,
show that
so.
has like my self-esteem is already at the bottom of the barrel. Sounds like the second half of a show that
I mean, like,
has with like
the
title
only
wise.
people who like this show have no self-esteem, so that fits perfectly.
Oh,
Sorry,
dear.
Has, but-
Oh, Jesus. We're coming for
Yeah.
heads already. Okay.
Except for our beautiful viewers and listeners.
Yes.
Yeah.
They know if they have low self-esteem. Don't give them false hope.
I
If you
love
like
them.
this show and you have high self-esteem, leave a
You're
comment.
Let us
lying.
know.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, anyways, this show was a ride in more ways than one because someone does get ridden, but at the end of the day, I enjoyed it a bit more like I thought I would, just like getting ridden. Where's this bit going? But yeah. Do I recommend
Oh.
the show? I mean, it's like, see, like, I would recommend this if I didn't know the person personally because I can't imagine myself just walking up to someone I know in person. It's like, hey, check out this show. I think you'd love this. It's just like
Admitting
it's
you've
not
watched
a
the
good
show.
it's not a good statement, but like if you don't really care about your relation with that person, then go ahead and recommend it to them.
It's like Monogatari, right? Where like you like it's good and you wish you could tell people about it, but you can't.
You gotta tell the right people about it. You gotta tell the people that are like just depraved enough to like this, but also like smart enough to
You
understand
gotta
it somewhat.
tell the smelly guy at your college who seems like he wears a fursuit.
You've already seen
24/7.
Monogatari.
Okay.
Recommend
Yeah,
it
call
to
me
him
out,
just
Kat.
in case.
Why you calling me out like that, Cat?
He's already seen Monogatari.
I thought Miles was the furry.
Oh, you're right. Why you calling Miles out like that?
Why are we so derailed? Holy cow. Bring it in, everybody. Bring it in.
It's because I
This
was given
show
a choice.
sort of
I was
lacked
given
focus.
a choice
I
to
think
like
we're
stay
just
on
in that
topic
mood.
or go
Just
out, and I
bring
go
it in.
out.
Bring it in. When we were bringing it back out, now we are bringing it back in. So your recommendation is for this.
My recommendation is for people like Has.
Ah, that's so sweet of you to say, and totally wasn't meant with any vitriol at all.
No,
All
I
right,
love the guy.
Pete, what have you got?
I go last as the voice of the people. Actually, technically,
course.
Pat goes last, but as the non-moderator, I go last as the voice of the people. I'm in the same boat as like a combination of Miles and Kat, where I was expecting very little, and the beginning was pretty bad. However, I thought it picked up steam towards like the middle half and into the end. I know we'll have some differences in terms of the ending, but I thoroughly enjoyed this show. I thought some parts were low-key hilarious. I spit water out once at a scene that I thought was just absolutely incredible. This show had no reason to be this good or funny based off of its premise and its art style and just everything that goes along with this show. I expected it to be a 4, and it was much better than a 4. I would recommend this to any smooth brain operators out there. If you're a smooth brain operator, I would definitely recommend the show to you.
That's funny. I like your assessment that it picked up in the middle, because I think if you're doing first impressions of the show, it's unfair to the show to only judge it off of its first few episodes, because I think that it does in the middle specifically pick up quite significantly in terms of like how much fun it was to watch. I had about the same expectations going in. I didn't expect to like it at all. I expected this to be another if her flag breaks level of just like, why am I watching this? You know, hating what I am watching and not just being disinterested. And this show had those elements for me where I just was not vibing with all the ecchi stuff, not vibing with a couple of the jokes that we'll get into later, I'm sure. Not vibing with the character design, because it's a bunch of lollies with tits all over the place. It's very weird. I don't know. Very like cartoonishly over sexualized, but again, we can talk about that later. But there were a lot of scenes that made me laugh, and a lot more than I thought would make me laugh too. So I'll
you
give it some
messaged me at some point, and you were like, I hate how much I'm laughing at this show.
Yeah, I did because and you know where that was? That was in the middle of the show, because I was like, damn it. I had already resigned myself to probably giving this a low score after the first few episodes, because I was just like, this is just not what I'm looking for. And then it started growing on me. Some of the jokes, some of the physical humor, I think, is really good in this show. Even though I dislike how they look physically, a lot of the humor that is done with it is pretty funny. Like the reactions and everything. So, can't say I could recommend this to someone without knowing them very personally, or knowing that they wouldn't judge me for recommending them something like this. But I can see the appeal for it, and I can totally understand why it was made into an anime in the first place, which is not always a compliment, but you know, maybe you can take it that way if you're a fan of the show. So yeah, that's our spoiler-free section completed. So now let's get into our main discussion, our main talking points. So I think the biggest point of contention that we saw in our like little pre-discussion of the show was the very beginning. Like the first, is it the first scene, or is it the second scene? But it's the first like major thing. There's like 5 minutes almost of exposition slash, you know, this narrator talking about
That
the
went on
history.
so long.
It did.
So
And
overdone.
So the narrator, for those who haven't watched it, they go on and talk about how there are millions of choices that are made every day. So many different choices have been made in history, and then it like shows like almost 100 examples of choices made in history where it's like, do we kill the emperor, or do we make him like surrender to us and use him as a, you know, diplomatic whatever? Do I paint the Mona Lisa, or do I paint the Lisa Mona, or something, you know, like stupid choices like that like were referencing points of history all throughout, like both Japanese and world history. I was laughing my ass off throughout that. I really enjoyed that bit a lot, but I do agree that it dragged on forever. A lot of people didn't like it though, I know from talking. So Miles, what were you gonna say? And then we can open the floor up.
Oh yeah, well I mean like just about that, like I enjoy, like I had like a U shaped, like the first like 2 I was like, this is fun, like look at them go and explain the premise this way, and then there were like 8 more, and I was like, Jesus Christ, and then there were like 8 more, and then
Yeah.
at that point I think I reached a point of delirium, where I was just like, I think this is funny again, but I also think it's because I've lost my mind. So like it was this like weird thing of like committing to the bit too much to the perfect amount, which sounds like it doesn't make any sense, and it's because it for sure doesn't.
That's a good
But
quote. I want to get that.
but that's my analysis of that intro. I think like are we just talking about this intro, or are we going to talk about like the first 2 or 3 episodes, like in general?
I think we should talk about the beginning in general, because I think that's where most of us, I would say, have our criticisms, at least, of the
Yeah,
show. Because I think we
so-
all kind of agree it definitely picked up in the middle.
My issue with the first few episodes is that they're quite formulaic. You know, like they don't do a lot with the premise, in my opinion. The jokes aren't. You haven't like met all the characters, and they haven't started interacting with each other like perfectly yet. But like a lot of the choices were very, I guess, like there was a clear choice to make, but also both choices were relatively mundane. You know, so like at the end you get like, or like the middle, you get like absolutely just like insane things happening. And but at the beginning it's like you either have to tell this girl, hey, can I touch your boobs, or tell her to touch your boobs. And like of course the correct answer is to tell her to touch your boobs, right? But like both of those options are like kind of mundane, and like it's not like a super funny scenario. So like that was like my initial impression. I still thought there were funny scenes in the first few episodes, but I thought that it sort of relied too much on tropey stuff. And then as it went on, it still had tropes, but it started getting funny with them, basically. I don't know. That was my thoughts. Kat, you looked like you had some thoughts there. Let's hear them.
Okay. So my thoughts for this show have probably so with the intro, I knew what I was getting into before I started watching this show this time. First time I did not, because I actually wanted to watch this show because I saw it on YouTube. Uh the sec this time I was just like, I'm going into this knowing that I'm not going to enjoy it. So I sat through it. And I think by after the intro, like after the first 3 times that they showed off some choices, I was just like, I'm so done with this. And then the whole thing with the magazine choice, I was like, at this point, this is my job. This is I've got to deal with this just so I can deal with never having to watch this again. Uh, like
I'm gonna
I
renominate it.
We're nominating the OVA next week, just so you know.
Oh hell yeah!
I hope to God we watch Fate Apocrypha. I really do.
Maybe we're gonna find out
Um,
later.
This is how Kat's not gonna show up next week because Miles has something to do with it.
But anyway, so my thoughts on the show really kept uh kept me paying attention as little as possible, just enough to show up here. uh for throughout the show, because like I had it on dub, had it in the background, I was cleaning. My house is actually cleaner than it was when I started watching the show. So it goes to show how much I care about this show. But yeah, the show didn't really capture me, and like I said in the intro, uh it was made. There were some times where I'd turn away from the laundry I was doing and chuckle a little bit, and then turn back and complete and then finish it before the episode was done.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I think early on, Miles said the episodes were pretty formulaic, and I can agree with that. Um, some of the characters were it's just like, oh, haha, trope. This is a trope, and even if we're making fun of the trope, they're still fitting into the trope, you know. And I think the beginning and ends of the shows, the characters felt very tropey, but in the middle is where they actually took the characters and explored them a little bit, and that's what I liked. That's when I really liked the show the most. So I don't know if other people feel the same way, but at the beginning I was just like, oh, there's the Kudere,
Yeah.
there's the Dere Ditzy, whoever. There's the Moe character, like that is very funny character. Again, a couple of the scenes with them were funny, but it was also just like, oh ha, do you guys get it yet? this is the joke we're going for. This is the bit we're gonna hammer it home. And I don't know. Some of the setup too. If you took like again, maybe I'm looking too into the show that I should have known wouldn't have been like this. But the setup for the plot at points is just so like it's there because that's why, and there's there's no depth to it at all, and it's funny, and it is funny at times when they make fun of it themselves, but also being self-aware can only get you so far when your plot is just happening for the sake of it happening. I don't know if what I said just
Do you
made
know?
sense
Do you
there,
want to know the exact moment when the show got good?
go ahead.
Is the foreshadowing in episode 3 where Chocolat is eating a banana and she eats all the bananas except for one banana and gives it to the main character, and it's an entire setup for this scene on the roof where it's very emotional, and then the mental choices happen and he slips on a banana. That is when I was like, this show is low-key genius.
Oh, that was the banana. Okay, that's fair. That I didn't even think about that when it happened in the moment.
Yes. And it was also the beginning of, like, I think is the beginning of where they start referencing different anime, because the first part of episode 3 is called Girls und Ponty Shots, which is obviously in reference to Girls und Panzer, and we start seeing that throughout the entire series, where we get episode 4 Monogatari.
Oh, that was so funny.
I don't know if we want to jump into that yet, just since we're still talking about the beginning, but I think that banana scene is when it's set for me, where I put down my phone and I was like, all right, like that was good. Like, really bad comparison. Konosuba-esque, where every part matters. That banana in the first scene wasn't just before eating, it was to set up the punchline 12 minutes later. And to me,
you're triggering me. You're triggering my my spider senses are like going off.
Pat, what I'm exactly saying is my mental choices is on par with Konosuba.
Okay, Pete's giving it a 10. Incoming.
No, I'm just kidding. Hell no, it's not even close to that. But I just thought that scene.
Like the mod's like fire pit Pete.
That scene was funny, and I think that's what started for me. That's just my.
That's
opinion.
like so that was the first.
Favor. Say aye.
Bye. That's a good vote.
So I tracked all the decisions he had to make and like paused the show and like wrote down what I would decide. And so the humor one was the first time I disagreed with him. Because surrealism is great. But I did like that like whole punchline and everything. There was like I don't know, like, because you were like talking about the tropes, Pat, but I think some of the ways they just like made fun of tropes and stuff were like fantastic. Like the little sister character, like I loved, because at first she seems like she's just like, oh, like I'm not like that's like such a tropey thing. There's like an episode or two where she's just this normal tropey like little sister character, and then you start like there's like little hints of her like asking other random people to be her big brother, and then by the end of it she's like asking young children to be her big brother, and like everyone. And I just thought that was like so funny, where it was like she's like so neurotic that she asks like everyone. There's like a small child and she's like stalking him, being like, will you be my Oni-chan?
Yeah, see, to me that was like, it was funny at first, but that was just like, really, this is the bit that they're going with throughout the entire show.
I just like, they kept dialing it up, and then at the end she's riding a wave of Oni-chans.
She literally pulls out a fucking noble phantasm of brothers.
Yeah, she
has a noble phantasm.
This is literally just unlimited brother words.
That was
Johnny came up with 2 good jokes at the same fucking time. The world was ending.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's literally in the story.
It's literally in the story. It wasn't.
What did the Himdare call it? Gates of.
It's not
Gates of something. I don't know.
It's something Bologna. Like it was supposed to be a Babylonia, except
yeah. It's supposed to be Gates of Babylon, but it's like whatever.
Instead of Babylon, just a bunch of dudes.
But it was like pigs or something, like Piglon or something, because she was calling them pigs the entire time.
Oh,
well,
yeah,
she was the French lady. Yes, she kept like the Rhine or whatever. That's the river, right, in France, or is it the? One of the rivers, and that's so funny.
Germany?
It's in both because I'm pretty sure
Mainland Europe.
mainland Europe.
Ba-da-da.
Yep. I just thought that was really. I don't. So her character. Oh God! Every time she was on the screen, I was upset and annoyed. But the character itself was funny. I guess like the bits that they did with the other characters and her was very funny. I thought. I don't know, man. It's so hard to praise this show for to me because as funny as some of the scenes were with the characters, both subverting expectations, but also then other times not, and like fully giving into the trope. There were so many jokes that fell not only flat, but like offensively bad or like insulting and kind of anti other people, like
We did talk
inclusive.
about this because you watch the fan sub compared to like the Crunchyroll sub.
Yeah, so I watched the fan sub, which means obviously it's
That
gonna be a
makes
little bit.
so much more sense
It's
with the
gonna be.
dialogue you were telling me.
It's
that the
more
Crunchy-
liberal, but it's also probably more, maybe not more literal, but like a little less filtered and
Yeah.
and like
More of-
purified, like Crunchyroll subs would be. Because like, so yeah, some of the dialogue I was reading was some of it probably not exactly what they said. Most likely not, but is the implication there most likely? Probably more. Like some of the scenes were just very. Again, homophobic might be a strong word to say that, but there was a lot of scenes that were jokes about, haha, he's gay. No, I'm not gay. I'm not gay. And then it's on to the next joke. Or, oh, you don't want to get fucked by that guy? Like, oh, no, I'm not because I'm not gay. Or, man, that gay guy's creepy as hell, isn't he? Because he's like being perversely gay towards me.
Yeah.
Like,
to me, I
shit
found like
that was
the
just so weird.
mildly rapey vibes from those
Yeah.
jokes.
Right,
Like
but they were
not
always the gay jokes, was the
Like-
rapey ones, which is why I think it was like it's kind of sketchy, because like
Well,
there.
okay,
true.
so like this might be like a bit like out of place, but to me, like maybe those jokes were there because it's like there are a lot of people that watch anime that just like ship male characters together for no reason. My Hero Academia. So like maybe they're referencing that, but also maybe it is just like
I don't think they
Oh,
are.
Johnny,
like, I
the
honestly don't know.
Yeah,
on
that's fair.
the on that subject, a lot of times when that's going on, of course, like a lot of like shipping goes on, like fucking the reason why Star Trek: The Next Generation was on TV for as long as it was because people were shipping it. Uh, but this show, I don't think that a lot of people would be trying to ship people in this show, especially since like the main three girls
Oh, no,
are
that's not what I was more talking about like how the show was making fun of people that do that because like I posted this inside the anime club like Discord chat. One of the things that they say in the show is all girls like cute things and homos.
Yeah,
Which
that,
is
that
one
line
of the
was
lines
really.
from the show.
Yeah, so I think the show makes fun of that trope too, where it's like let's say there's the student council president or whatever, right, or the vice president, and he's standing on stage, and then all the girls are like, oh my god, look at him, like the and I'm gonna put this in quick, the female gaze, right, like that whole thing. They make fun of that trope multiple times in the show, but then they also still, at least again from the fan sub, which I will take it with a grain of salt, but I still think it represents what the show was meaning to say, is that it still also has that gaze, and it still has that like homo oh, he's gay but it's a joke so it's okay, or he's gay, isn't that funny?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it's
like a troubling, like a stereotype that has been like purported for like gay characters and stuff is that they're like overly horny and handsy and like things like that, right? So like,
right.
it's not that like they're like I think it's okay to call it like problematic to some extent. I think that's like true. I didn't find the like the fujoshi elements of like chocolate because you were like talking about those two in the dub. Those were not particularly issuey in my mind, at least. The rape jokes, I think probably have some like mild, like maybe homophobic undertones, but to me the bigger issue there was that they were rape jokes, which are just not
Yeah.
super funny generally.
It dates
ever.
itself.
Yeah, I mean, it does date
It
itself.
definitely dates itself. I
Um,
agree with that. It's from
you know,
2013. You know,
you
and
know, and like the silly, like I didn't like the jokes about the like her boobs being fake, right? Like I didn't think those were very funny. Um, like there was a lot of like ecchi comedy that I didn't particularly enjoy.
but weren't they
Like
fake, or weren't they act? Or so they
yeah, they were
weren't.
They
fake.
were fake.
Yeah,
They
but
were
I was
fake.
saying like that was like the butt of jokes, right? Like it's like she has fake boobs,
But
and
then
like
she doesn't have fake boobs. I
No,
thought.
she
no,
does.
she
No,
has she has fake
does.
boobs the entire time. The girl lies to like
That's
to
okay.
make
So
save her
I was like,
face.
oh, did she lie to save her face? But then,
yes.
oh, and then okay, and that makes the last scene where there's the gun between her tits, meant to look like a dick getting a tit job. That scene, where she's like, oh, I feel a lump. That lump is
Yeah,
supposed to, okay, is the
yes.
silica.
It adds gravitas to that
I
extremely
thought
deep and meaningful scene.
I thought it was like a breast cancer joke, and I was like, holy fuck! Like, are they actually going that
Jesus
far?
Christ.
That would have been so much
initial-
better. Of course,
Right.
this show's not gonna do that.
Sorry, maybe I
That'll
shouldn't say
be-
I thought that. That was my initial
100%.
reaction. Was like, oh, are they making like oh, she might have breast cancer joke? And I was like,
Oh
no
my
way are
god,
they
that
doing
would
that.
have been so dark.
I know.
That would
That's
be
why,
so
it wouldn't-
fucking funny though.
The
No,
show
it was
has
she.
blown
It
away
was
my
it was like
expectations.
this part of the boob feels different than the other part of the boob because of the show doesn't understand how breast implants work. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
that's why it said a lump in the
yeah.
fan
Oh,
sub. It
it's
said a
fan-
lump. So I was like, lump in a breast.
I was
What's
gonna say,
that?
I don't think
like,
they said that in the Crunchyroll sub. I'm gonna be
Okay,
It,
Who
completely
in the,
knows?
honest
yeah,
with you.
in the Crunchyroll sub, yeah, it says like, oh, like this part like feels different than this other part or whatever.
okay,
It was
that's
definitely toned down in the Crunchyroll
that
sub.
makes me feel much better to know that was not that I wasn't. Well, I don't know. Again, I was just like, what the fuck, show?
Oh my
Like,
god, no, that
you
would
know,
that would have
that's
been
what I
like
expected.
horrible. Like how
No.
dark would that have been? Jeez
It's
Louise.
very like yeah.
So
I
next,
don't
make
know.
it the decapitation joke about her because she's Mary Antoinette.
Yeah. Oh god.
Which is the funniest joke in the entire series, is the Marie Antoinette joke.
Oh, I don't know. I think them calling one of the girls in the crowd audience member B or whatever was really funny. That was so good when he's like, "You're not helping," like shut up. There were a lot of really good one-liners. I think that was the strength of the show for me, and especially in the middle when they were just going back and forth between their other anime references. I mean, we talked about Fate and Monogatari. I think they referenced Monogatari multiple times. They had a whole episode where they were talking in Monogatari speak, right? With the alliteration and
Yeah,
the
episode
the whole
4.
episode.
no, it was like episode 11, wasn't it? When they were doing, or not 11 because
No,
there was
episode
10 episodes.
11.
Sorry, it was where episode 11 would have been.
9.
If it was a 13. Yeah, it was like 9 or
Okay.
8 or something. It was like literally all alliteration, and there was multiple times where they put like translators notes to explain the joke or to explain the word in the fan sub. So
I
that was
think that's
that.
only in the fan sub though.
I guess so. Well, you guys missed
I
out.
don't
Apparently,
remember. I don't
Fans
remember
tend to be
that
better
in
than the Crunchyroll subs
Crunchyroll.
because they have more time to. Well, not
Well,
more time. They have more
it's a
dedication to what
passion.
they're
It's a
doing.
passion. It's a passion
Yeah.
to do it rather than a job. So of course they're gonna put more time in, or not even put more time in, but they're gonna study it
Put more
better
work in.
and try to analyze it and also influence your opinion of it. So yeah, I don't know. That's a whole different discussion. But either way, but there were references like that. There was a Team Rocket reference in one of the the little choices like in between the menus. It was like prepare for trouble or make it double were the two
Oh, that's
options.
fun.
That was
Oh,
really
that's
funny. There was a lot of really like good little one-liners, and the main character's voice, like he was really good at doing the like what or the like the shock kind of thing. Like I thought the way he would react to scenes was very funny. But it was also still there were so many times where I was just sitting there like recoiling physically at what was happening on my screen or what was being talked about or just the scenarios that the characters would get themselves into. Oh god, I don't know. It was tough.
For me, I think. Oh god, I don't know what the funniest moment for me is. I have like 2 moments for me that I thought were hilarious. One where the narrator started laughing when he was giving the choices. Like he just like cracked up because he knew just how absurd what he was asking like was and like how poorly timed it was.
Yeah.
I thought that was perfect. And then the scene where he's trying to shoot the Dairy girl with the onion stuff, and it's just like this really over dramatic like
Yeah.
out scene. He like pulls out the gun, and she's like, "Why do you have that?" And he's like, "I'm sorry, I have to do it." And then he gets the choice, and he has to shoot himself, and so it just like cuts it, like plays it all like it's a dramatic suicide. And I thought that was just super funny. Goodness, I don't know. What was everyone's favorite, I guess, like, comedy moment? Cat, if you have one, or, like, choice or whatever. Like, what?
Mine, mine actually is is the fucking. Okay, so the narrator one, mainly because like throughout the show, I was getting secondhand embarrassment from the main character, but when the narrator started laughing, for some reason I projected myself onto the narrator, so it actually made me laugh at that point. So I'd stop what I was doing to laugh. But that, uh, and I think I kind of like tuned in a little bit for the onion scene, but that's pretty much it.
I think for me, the funniest scene is I don't think we talked about this yet, but like when they were having like the 5 most popular people versus like the 5 least popular people, which by the
That
way,
was the
there was
next episode, I
by the way,
think.
there was only 4 people, and one of them had literally no lines. I don't know who the 5th guy is. Maybe the 5th guy's the narrator, but like anyways. So like when the first time where like they have to like do an acting thing, and then the little sister goes full yandere.
Oh, God, that was great.
That was really good.
That was funny.
She does it later, too, and it caught me off guard again. Like, her voice actress was phenomenal. That I just thought that character was so fucking fun because of how irrelevant to any plot points that she were, so they could just go like 1,000% on the jokes. Like, I don't know. That's a great choice, Johnny. I thought that was so funny.
Yeah.
I felt like she was more of like I felt like Kiss Note probably did a little better with the fucking yandere who said that she was a tsundere, but maybe that's just me.
I don't know what that show
I don't know
is.
what you're referencing at all.
Hold on.
Anyways,
while
Pete,
while Kat looks that up,
Whatever.
my favorite part, or I thought it was just hilarious when they're doing the insults, and Furano or Yukihira was making fun of the blonde chick and called her like Marie Antoinette, and then she's like, "Let them eat cake" or something like that. I forgot what the word.
No, let them eat boobies instead
Yeah,
of
let them eat
cake.
boobies or something. And I don't know why, but like just getting Marie Antoinette referenced in that scene just like was like so like what the fuck is happening? I thought that was just hilarious. And the banana scene, I referenced it earlier. That scene's genius. I laughed my ass off at that.
Yeah, that's great. And I guess for me, I think the one that I wrote down for Miles was, yeah, so the girl in the audience, he's just getting insulted for loving or be like having the class president, who's very obviously God, come up to him and like hug him and be all like lovey-dovey or whatever. He says one of the girls in the audience, the second girl, cuts to them, and she's like, "Oh, you're a one pump chump or something," and then he just yells back in the background like, "Up yours, girl B," is what the translation was. So so it was like, "Fuck you, girl 2," or whatever, because it's like, oh, she's girl B in the script. Like, I thought that was pretty clever, and very very very
So
entertaining.
the president thing. I don't know. I'm curious about everyone else. They had hinted a little bit that she like kind of knew what was going on, but like
Yep.
her like affection not being real like did catch me off guard. Like,
Really?
yeah, like I don't know. I so
You
many
thought it was
times.
real?
Yeah, I mean, you've seen
Really?
shows like this. People fall in love with the main character for no damn reason all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, but this show was
but here it's
self-aware.
like I felt like this show had a bit more self-awareness where like I didn't think
You
that
can
was
do
gonna
self-awareness in like 2 ways, though. You can be like, "Haha, we're doing the thing. Isn't it funny how we're doing the thing?"
On Asuba. Yep.
As opposed to like you thought we were gonna do the thing, but then we didn't do the thing.
Hmm.
happen.
Um,
Or be Oremo and do both, but
because they committed to it for like 2 episodes until she was like, "Look, someone needs to do this job. Your stupid person who's supposed to do this job is useless, so I'm going for it." I don't know, like that caught me off guard. I don't know. Maybe I was just like too like like I don't know, not expecting any gravity from anything that I watched, but like when Chocolate's personality changed, like I was like really disturbed by that. It was very unnerving for me. And so like I thought that was good. I really liked the Kudere and like wanted her to be able to like sort out her feelings and stuff. I don't know. I had some moments that like actually had me like emotionally invested in this, and I guess I wasn't expecting that at all because it's hard to get me emotionally invested.
Yeah, and I could tell when I was watching. I was like, all right, Miles likes this girl. It's I partly because I was like, I like this girl a lot too, and I think she was fun. This doesn't have to be our best girl thing yet, but I thought Ferrano, the white-haired girl, was really fun because like they had that whole episode where she's like talking to the pig and like confessing.
I loved that episode.
That was a really good episode, and I was like, wow, they like subverted my expectations, still made it funny, still made jokes about it, but also let her kind of like have her moment of like revealing that, oh no, she actually does like the main character, and it wasn't like forced. It felt natural because well, no, but it's like, the whole time it had been building up that, oh, she was like the one that's like putting on a face for him or whatever, and oh, it turns out that this personality that she's so performative about is a performance to try to change what her middle school life was like compared to her high school life. I thought that was really clever and made me like that character a lot. I don't know, what were some of the other major talking points we wanted to get to before we continue here, because we are approaching almost an hour or just under.
I have
42 minutes.
I have a really important talking point, and it's about the worst, most cowardly decision he made in the entire series. I've talked to some people about this before, but
is it the
yes,
world or whatever?
So on the way to the water park, he has an option. There's option 1, I forget what it is. There's option 2, which is like accidentally say like whatever you're thinking all the time, right? So he goes with that one because, like, I don't know, he's never thinking anything too bad. He just like calls some girl's boobs small or whatever. And then there was 3, which just says the galaxy and beyond. I have in my notes, and I quote, "What a coward." You have to pick that. You have to pick the galaxy and beyond. What does that mean?
What if it? Like, what if that just means he just gets sent to space and fucking dies?
I don't. You have to pick it. You have to pick it, and you have to find out. Like, does it? You know what I mean? Like, it reminds me of the only good part of Undead Unluck, which is when they get a punishment, and it's like the fact that the universe exists and like stars and stuff like come into existence, and then like aliens go after them or some shit.
Oh, no,
like
that. You know what? The guy. I just realized what it means now. It just means that the ending is gonna be aliens, just because. Figure. It's like
yeah,
the French.
You could have done that. You could have picked the galaxy and beyond, and this could have turned into like an alien invasion anime, and that would have been so cool.
That way
wait, are you saying that this show is just basically the ending of Kill la Kill?
This show is the ending of Kill la Kill, but with somehow less clothing.
No, it's the ending. It's the ending essay, where they go into space for some reason. It's just
maybe it's like an existential thing. Who knows? We'll never ever find out what the galaxy and beyond will be, and I will never forgive the show for that, because like he could have just picked one of the girls to be in love with him, and instead he picked Something Will Happen, which is like I get it. It's like also ominous. But the galaxy and beyond sounds like your mind will be flooded with eldritch horror, like reality, you will understand the smallness of the human race in the galaxy and be driven insane. And he didn't pick it, and he's a fucking coward. I want them to fight Cthulhu.
A light novel, I promise.
Write a
It's-
fan
Oh,
fiction.
also, wait, speaking of like the last few episodes, can we just talk about how like that entire time he had written on his pants the smallest thing imaginable in the world, and no one's commented on it?
The teacher
Well,
did.
no, they did. The
The
teacher
teacher
initially.
did, but like no one else.
She's like, "Oh, good, you're not ashamed," or something like that's a
I
normal.
thought that was funny. I legitimately like
Like,
honestly,
why
like
did
if I
no
saw
one
someone
say
walking
anything?
around with a bathing suit that said like the world's smallest penis on it, I'd be like, that guy's probably got a big penis. Like,
Why don't you find?
It's when the security guard is named Tiny. No, it's you have to
yeah.
It's talking about his self-esteem, not his dick.
Well, I
Okay.
guess
Well,
why
that
would his
fell flat.
self-esteem be on his crush?
All right, we're looking way too into this. But
Wait,
cool.
so
all
you
right.
don't want to talk about his penis, Pat?
Not particularly.
All right,
no.
just check.
I
Let's
think
let's
I'm-
do the measurements like with our slowful. Like, what is the size of his cock?
Probably half a monster can. There you go. We went full circle on the joke. There we go. That joke's done. Let's move on to something that's more entertaining, like our best girl debate. I don't think we have to tie it to. For the first time in a while, this show I think has like the waifus or the waifu bait, whatever you want to say, to actually have this be its own like talking point rather than part of your closing thoughts. So, what did you guys? Maybe you can say a little bit about what the waifus in general, but then who was your best girl and why? So, Miles, why don't you start us off?
Sure. So this girl, very strong in the waifu category. So good. There was things I liked about all of them. Furino is my favorite. I like snarky kudereis. I think it's just a thing I enjoy. But I liked Oka a lot. She's the dairy girl. I liked how she would say pose whenever she jumped up somewhere. Like I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
I very much like this, and I know this is a thing that bothered you, but I love when things don't need explanations. Like her parents own some giant corporation that has magical items, and that's just accepted as fact in this universe. And I am
That
so
was
pleased
funny
with
to
that.
me. To be fair,
Yeah.
I thought that when it's played for a
Mhm.
joke, it's funny. I think when it is like a pivotal part of the series, that's when I don't like it. Usually.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like superpowers, like if they're supplementary, whatever, but if they're a key thing and they're never explained, then it sucks. Chocolat, I also really liked. Like, I was legitimately upset when she like got her memories back, which sounds a little evil.
Yeah. You
But
hate kids,
whatever.
though. Nothing wrong.
I like when girls with a bit of brain damage.
Yeah, there you go, Johnny. All right, good job.
Hey, we should edit. Furino though is my best girl.
Or no, okay. Wait. Oh, okay. It is the main girl. I thought you were going for something different here. Okay, there we go.
No, I mean I wanted to give them all a shout out, and so I did.
That's fair. Fair. Okay, I was very confused for a second. I was like, no, wait. It's not best girl. What are you doing? Kat, what about you?
All right. So for me, it was really a toss-up between Furno and Chocolat. Mainly because Chocolat is the chick that is the one part that I remember about this show, which is when she's playing fetch. That's it. And that versus Furno being like when I was paying attention, her being like slightly funny. But I'm gonna have to go with Chocolat because it's more memorable. So, are we go into our closing thoughts also, right?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
All right, got you.
Yep. All right. Johnny, what about you?
All right, so yeah, I'll say like none of the girls are like in the show. I didn't like. I hated. Okay, that's a lot. I really didn't like Kanagi because I just don't like that kind
Watch
of
your
character.
mouth. Watch your
No,
mouth.
Whoa, the Moe girl?
No, I
You
will.
didn't
I will
like
say
her?
I don't look. I don't like those kind of characters. Okay, like they bother me. It's just
She
like,
was so nice though.
He was
Yeah,
so
but, like-
innocent.
like,
No, oh my god,
okay,
the
you
part
know what-
where he
you know
has
what I
this,
think?
she
You know what I-
forgives him. Sorry,
You know, I think she's not a real human. Like,
the part where she
No,
forgives him,
isn't.
and then he says, then he has to say, "So when can I see your panties again?"
Yeah, that was,
So
and his inner monologue the whole time is like, "Oh, she's so cute," or "Oh man, this is terrible. What a
he's
what a
just like-
sweet young maiden. What a beautiful young woman. What I like just very like, man, I can't believe I have to do this to this poor girl." I thought that was so funny. I agree, she is not human. None of these characters are very human.
Also, like she's the least human out of them.
That's a fair assessment, I think, 'cause she was very just like, "Oh yeah, you asked to see my panties? Oh well, that's a total normal thing for someone to do in there."
I know I've said this before, but we've literally had a show with a sex doll that's had more personality than her.
And she was best
But, like,
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, anyways, but like for in terms of like who I actually liked, out of the main three, I would say Furano's probably my favorite. Probably because of the white hair, because we all know.
Yep.
You love Amelia.
You love Echidna. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey,
I love the spikes. You know, it's just okay.
the Echidna's birthday today, just so you know.
Oh, it is.
Throwing that out there.
Sweet.
Yeah. Good
Drink
job,
that
Pat.
tea, boys.
I don't even know that.
I would drink that tea. Yeah, you didn't know that because you don't got Twitter, probably. There we go.
Yeah,
All right. Yeah, Twitter,
Yeah,
great place.
best girl Furano, just because she has white hair.
You know where else you can find our opinions other than Twitter?
On our
The Discord.
Discord.
Yeah, it is in the Discord. Good job, Pat. Thanks,
Sick plug, Pat.
Thanks, Pat. All right, Pete, or Pat, depending on the context. What is your best girl?
Well, I'm
Or
gonna
who
give
is
an
your best girl?
honorary nod to Yawakaze. Johnny is absolutely wrong in this. She is a very nice girl, and she deserves nothing.
Never said she
but,
wasn't. She
She deserves nothing but head pats and I don't know, gentle hugs. I don't know. She's great. I'm with Miles. Love me some Starkey Kudereis. I thought Furano was actually like a really fun character, because I thought like in episode 1 she's just going to be the snarky. She kept calling her like maggot. I don't know what they called it in your translations, but
It was maggot. Yeah, it was because
Okay.
she was the bug or whatever. It
Yeah.
was what they were going for.
so I thought that
the
she was gonna be like
horoscope.
that character the entire time, but then like you find out like she's like in love with him, and she just has like a really hard time expressing it, but this is how she can talk to him. And I don't know, something about that where like she's trying but she doesn't know how to, right, just quite yet. Something about that I really liked about her, and I thought she was a really fun character. Chocolate was like a closer up, but I didn't like her like memory reformed version. I like the silly eating chocolate one, which makes sense for her name. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Furano. That's my girl.
Wow. A lot of us are on the Furano train. I am one of those people as well. I think she was the most interesting character, probably because she had a full episode actually dedicated to her personality and to her character development, which of course they kind of went back on by the end of the show, but who cares? That episode existed and it was really cool.
That's how you have to view this show, Pat. Who cares?
Well, I was gonna go into who cares, except literally like every character in this show is designed as if they are trying to be like, I don't know, appealing to someone who likes the way younger people look. I don't know. I thought it was very, very gross. The character designs in this show were gross to me, and I hated them. So I guess that's not entirely best girl, but that's like best girl related because she looked the most normal out of them, like body proportion or whatever you want to say. Furano was like the most like.
She just looks the most normal.
Yeah, she didn't have. We don't have to talk about.
It's
this
probably
on-
we can talk about it later, but like
This
the
is-
proportions of her are more normal than the proportions of the
Okay,
other girls.
fair enough.
of Chocolate, the girl with literal implants, or
Okay, well
The
that's
teacher.
the teacher. Oh my god, why is the
Yeah.
teacher a fucking lolly? Why? All right, yeah. So that the rest of my thoughts we'll save for later. But like, what the fuck? Why is the teacher a literal lolly? It's like, oh, haha. Are they referencing Toradora? No, because they never really make another hint at it. If she's just
What?
and they also hint, oh well, because isn't the teacher in Toradora really short and tiny? Or am I thinking?
No.
Really? No.
Yeah,
Wrong
No.
actor.
God,
Wrong
what
show.
school?
You
What
might be
school was I
thinking
thinking
of
Well, is it-
Nikujo
is that
or
in-
like Ari Feretta or something like that.
Wait, is that the teacher in like?
I
Certain
don't think
Magical
Pat's
Index?
mistaking it for Ari Feretta.
I'm not mistaken for Ari. I must be
The
thinking of
teacher
another.
being short is a trope, but
It is
like I
definitely
don't
a trope,
know
but they're
if
like
it
a
is.
little lolly teacher or whatever, and it's just like, why is this in the show? And then They reference too that she knows she's experienced like this before, but then they don't really explore that at all, which maybe that's because it didn't get to the end of the light novels or not, by the end of the show itself, but you still teased it. Chekhov's gun. Come on. I want to see it shot. Let's see it shot.
It's in reference to a certain magical index. There we go.
Oh yeah, that's what I was
That
thinking
makes
of.
sense.
There we go. I don't know. I just hated the character designs so much in this show. Because I thought the voice acting was fine. Like the characters themselves were pretty funny at times, even if I hated their tropes. But their designs, it was just sickening for me to look at. I did not enjoy it, and I also thought the production of the show was probably the worst production we've seen out of any show in Anime Club.
Really?
Comparatively, I
Wow.
think overall, like so many scenes were like PowerPointy or very like.
Did we not watch Handshakers?
All right, so maybe Handshakers is the exception.
Exactly.
That's a fair
Can
point.
we not watch a
But
show?
out of the shows we nominated normally, I thought.
So this isn't fair to this show that I'm about to name because the show was made like in the late '90s, but now and then here and there had like huge.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It was literally a slideshow OP.
Like I would say now and then here and there
the
probably
OP
had.
is different though. But yeah. Either way, I agree with you that had a lot of animation errors as well. But I think that this one to me was more offensive. Maybe because it's newer. Maybe it's because I was already turned off by the style in the show. But I just remember sitting there being like, wow, the jiggle physics and all the shit that was happening on the screen at all times. It just felt
Production
like
value.
it is though because it wasn't good if compared to like other times that's been done in shows. But again, that's something we can talk about another time.
Oh yeah, it's trigo physics.
Sure. Yeah. Well, we talk about that all the time on our own time, don't we? Haha. Yeah. There we go. Miles, why don't we go into closing thoughts just so we can keep ourselves moving here?
Yeah, sure thing. I liked the show. I thought it was funny. There were parts that weren't funny. There were parts that were dated. But like ultimately, I would say it's like a good time. If you like stupid comedy stuff, watch this show. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
7. Wow. Good for you.
What are
Miles.
you doing?
I don't fucking know.
All right, Kat, why don't you go next so we can stop you doing whatever you're doing on screen?
All right. So my thoughts for this show are the same as my as my introduction. It was made. It's a show. I kind of paid attention to it, just enough to find a few things that I enjoyed about it, and then ignore the rest. Like I was really just looking for scenes of the show that I've seen on YouTube. Other than that, I really didn't mind, really didn't care. And it couldn't keep me like even when I was trying to watch, it couldn't keep me engaged. So like legitimately I thought that the way that you guys explained it was more entertaining than the show itself. So that's why I'm giving this show a 4.
Okay. Johnny, what about you?
All right, so about I'm with Miles. We're here where I actually did find some of the scenes funny, and I know that like some people might find the jokes offensive, and like I completely understand that. But for me as a person, like they like offensive jokes don't really bother me too much. Like even when it's like directed at like something myself, it's like it doesn't really get to me. That's just the kind of person I am. So that part of the show didn't bother me. And also probably has to do with the fact that like expectations are a big deal when it comes to like the rating I give shows. Like if I'm expecting trash, and it's actually good, I'm probably gonna give it slightly higher than I would normally give it. So with all that said, I'm gonna give the show a 7 out of 10. I think it was a lot better than I thought it was gonna be, and like I am shocked as well that like I actually kind of like this show. But yeah, I'm giving it a 7.
A 7. I did not expect that high of a score, but good for you, Johnny. Haz is probably celebrating right now hearing that.
He
Pete, what
doesn't
about
care
you?
about my opinion.
He does sometimes. When it matters or when it agrees with
Yeah.
him, he cares.
Mhm.
like most people. But Pete, go ahead. What's your
Yeah, I
closing
thought the
thoughts?
show was pretty well done for what it's supposed to be. On paper, it looks like a typical ecchi trash comedy that I've seen 1,000 times. And when I go into it with high aspirations and low expectations, it exceeded those. And I had a really good time watching this. I'm really happy that it was like 10 episodes. I don't think we like really talked about it that much, but that it being 10, I thought it got to the point. I think it being 12 would have just been like unnecessary and kind of dragged it down a little bit. So big fan of that. I thought just like the biggest problems were episodes 1, 2, and then some of 3. And then after that, I had a really good ride. I don't think we really talked about it, but I thought the ending scene with the snow at the water park was like really fun and just stupid and chaotic, and that's what the show was. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I would recommend it to a decent amount of people who are looking for like a shut off comedy. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it.
Okay. I wasn't a huge fan of the closing scene because it didn't actually close anything. Like again, I agree it was very chaotic and funny at times. Like a lot of the jokes were funny and it was referencing a lot of the old shit that had happened in the show, and especially like that scene where he's on the inner tube where he goes through like literally every character that's ever been on screen and said a word. Like, oh, suddenly everyone's here. Like, what the heck? That's so weird and random and kooky, whatever.
Everyone is here.
Yeah, there you go, Smash Bros, baby. That was funny, and I thought that it was funny. I was just annoyed that there was no resolution because I always like there to be some kind of winner in a harem show or in a show where it was clearly going towards that route. So that being said, I don't think I liked it enough to go read a light novel this would not be the first ever light novel I've read. So or it
Yeah,
won't
you
be.
haven't gone to your local library and ordered.
No, believe it or not, this is not going to be the first one I read. It's
Unless I buy it for you.
no, it would go on that bookshelf right up there and sit there and not be read. 86 might be the first one I read. See, well, let's see how the show ends first. But yeah, I don't know. So many of the jokes fell very flat to and I personally am not offended by bad jokes, but I think that they should also not like they shouldn't be something we see and ignore because a lot of the people that are going to be bothered and offended or hurt by those jokes are not also going to be the people that are speaking up about it because they don't feel comfortable speaking up about it. So, again, maybe that was a product of the fan sub, but I think the fact that they could even be translated in that way is a knock on the show. But I don't think it affected my score that significantly. Maybe it brought it down a point, but I don't know. I don't think my score changed that much. I think 5 out of 10 is where I'm going to sit it because I think it was funny at times and I didn't hate watching it, but I was also pretty disappointed with it because I went in not expecting much, and then the middle it got better, and then by the end I was like, damn, I kind of wanted you to stay good, or stay really good, and it kind of fell off a little bit for me by the end. But yeah, so that averages us out to a flat 6 on my on the ratings, a 6.0 for my mental choices, which is 1.2 points lower than Mal. That is higher than I thought we would be, to be honest. That's pretty entertaining actually that we're that high. But yeah, so now we have finished our discussion on my mental choices, or my mental choice, multiple choice power is completely ruining my school romantic comedy. And now we are moving on to our special 2-core nomination show that we will be watching 2 weeks from now, or discussing 2 weeks from now. Miles, take it away. What did the voting look like?
Yes. So, we have in
voted.
third place we have a tie between Vinland Saga and Pretty Derby. In second place we had a tie between Ushishi and Toradora. And in first place we had, sorry, Cat, Guilty Gear.
Guilty
Gear.
Crown.
Guilty Crown.
Guilty Crown, whatever it's called.
Guilty Crown.
I was talking to Has too much today. Guilty Crown. So that is what
without the help of legacy points.
we will be watching. Yeah, I mean it
You
was
have
a
shown
good
me, Pat. You have
6,
shown me.
6 points ahead of
Hmm.
second place. It did quite well.
I don't know
So.
how it did either because I didn't feel like it was winning at the start. I was expecting to be disappointed, but
I think it was my. I think it was part of me, my jokes.
yeah, maybe I don't know. But that's really exciting. I get my 4th win after only 2 years of doing this almost. 4 wins and 56 episodes. I guess it's not terrible. I'm really excited to watch this. Should be a really good discussion too because I expect we will. The ending will cause a lot of discussion, from what I've heard. Um, so yeah, that's gonna be a really fun show to talk about. But yeah, so 2 weeks from now, that'll be our 2 core episode. But then now let's do nominations or voting for what will be the February 21st episode of Watch Club, which is a week after Valentine's Day to the date. And yeah, we're going to do a special Valentine's themed episode of love and all sorts of other delusions or whatever you want to call them. So yeah, why don't we get into our nominations for that, Miles? Why don't you start?
Sure, I am going to be nominating Katana Gatari for this.
Nice. I didn't know that was romance. That's awesome.
It is on the tag list.
Hey, as long as it's on
That's
the
an
tag
interesting.
list.
Yeah, it counts. It fits. What about you, Kat? What have you got?
This week I have got Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun.
Okay.
Ooh, spicy. I like that.
Not really. It's very
Uh,
bland. It's very
is
vanilla.
it?
Oh, I
Not
like
bland,
this. I
vanilla.
like this girl's
It's fun.
bow.
It's fun. Fun
It's
show.
fun. It's just vanilla.
I say spicy because I like romance a lot, so I'm excited for that week because it's one of my favorite genres. So yeah, Johnny, what about you?
All right, so we're gonna abuse the legacy points, and because I've been told that people might actually vote for it this time, and I think this has the record for the most legacy points so far.
You have the 2 shows with the most legacy points, so
I guess I've taken past place, so I guess I'll might as well finish this. I'm gonna nominate Devil's a Part-Timer, which might I add is 69 in popularity right now. So
Nice.
You know.
Nice.
Nice.
That's a romance. Interesting. I didn't know
Yep.
that.
comedy,
Yeah, I was
fantasy,
surprised.
romance, supernatural.
Wow. Ooh, what's supernatural about
Theme
the devil is a
demons.
part-time?
Theme, yeah, demons.
I didn't know you were the theme of this show, Miles.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, it
Good
clearly
job,
is.
Miles, boys.
Uh,
If you want to know what that inside joke is, join our Discord.
Nice plug,
Oh,
Kat. Nice plug.
thanks,
Okay.
Pat.
Thanks.
Did you just thank yourself?
Yes, I did. That was the joke.
That
Thank
was
you.
funny. I liked
Thank
it.
you. Thank you. Pete, what about you?
Well,
What is your
we're-
nomination?
Since we're cool with fan subs, I think we're cool if I nominate this. One of my favorite movies from 2021. I'm nominating Josie, the Tiger and the Fish.
Okay. Well, what, can we not watch that legally somewhere? I thought we could. Isn't it on
Yes,
Amazon?
we can. Wink.
I
Well,
mean, it's
well,
not.
of course we can, but what is that? I could have sworn it was on Amazon. Maybe I'm wrong.
God, this
Um,
ticket to Japan's gonna be so expensive.
It's on legal streaming sites. Wink.
Gotcha. Perfect. Well, so we know what not to vote for. There we go. Jay. I'm kidding.
Oh,
I'm
Jay's
kidding.
nominating Spice and Wolf.
Jay is nominating Spice and Wolf. I was going to bring up because he
That's my
came
number
in
3
and
vote.
he came in and discussed the show before leaving for work. So we feel like his vote should be counted. And then yeah, lastly for me, I'm gonna try to abuse legacy points again, even though they've never ended up helping. Well, no, they helped me win one time. And that'll be Princess and the Pilot. Cool little romance movie, nice and easy watch. After we probably slugged through 22 episodes of Guilty Gear or Guilty Crown. Fuck, you got me saying it now.
Yeah, right.
Guilty Crown. So yeah, Princess of the Pilot.
Can we
it's
watch
only like
that legally?
Yes, it's on Crunchyroll.
Alright, cool.
So there you go. That's the only reason why I ever found out about it, actually. So there we go. But yeah, that was our nominations. We got through them nice and quick. So I guess that wraps up Anime Club this week. Thank you guys so much for joining, and Pete, take it away.
Yes, if you made it this far and you want to support the podcast, like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you are watching or listening to us on. You have, as of this recording date, you have 1 week left to vote for Anime of the Year. If you vote, you have a chance at winning a $50 gift card just for voting. It's that easy. Next week, we're going to be doing our first impressions of the currently airing season and giving my thoughts on apparently shows that have foot fetishes and whether or not shows are ecchi. So that's will be a fun conversation. And then Anime of the Year is going to be 3 weeks from now. That is actually on Valentine's Day. So if you love the podcast, watch the Anime of the Year episode. That's going to be super fun. But other than that, thank you so much for watching or listening. And we'll see you in 2 weeks for Guilty Crown. See you then.